Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. I thought I would do a long form video, more like a podcast. So if you enjoy the sound of my voice, maybe you can turn off the screen and maybe listen to this on the train, or maybe to put you to sleep. You know what I've been doing recently? I'm listening back to all the A Blog to Watch weekly podcasts with the team of A Blog to Watch. And often I'll put it on in the evening and maybe I'll fall asleep, so I'll have to listen back to it the next day. So I'm going through all of them, and right now it is my favorite thing to watch and or listen to every week. Really enjoying, especially Ariel Adams's objective view on watches, seeing them for what they are, right? Just a product, and objectively looking at whether it's a good or a bad product. And when you take that approach to watches, I think it's a lot more healthy than getting too excited, too enthusiastic. Of course, everything on social media just pushes us to buy more, to want more, and just this morning, once again, Omega released another teaser for a watch that will be released in 6 days, and they are showing a moon phase. It seems that there is another sub-dial. So it's going to be maybe a chronograph with a moon phase. I'm guessing maybe another Speedmaster chronograph. Omega has been releasing a lot of interesting watches, but there's so many releases, and if you buy them all at one point, you're gonna look at your collection and wonder, hey, is this really something important or not? I think if you want to be sure that you're buying something important, it's always good to take a step back or maybe just focus on buying watches that have been discontinued, or vintage watches. At least you know that they are not, you know what the brand has been doing afterwards, and you know that you might be getting the last of a certain series and not just one in a long lineage of iterations of a watch. And I've been looking at my collection a lot and trying to see what do I really love, which are the watches that I really craved for a long time, which are the watches that I bought sort of on a whim because it's the new thing. And of course I've got a channel, so I like to have new things to show, but it's always exciting to buy a new watch. And of course in the past few years, we all bought a lot of watches, and some of them, I think when I started buying watches, I was a lot more careful. And of course, to me at that time, buying a watch that's $500 was a lot of money. And I remember looking at the Longines Legend Diver when it was still the original one in the shops, and I thought, oh, that's just way too expensive. I'd never buy a watch so expensive, so I looked for the good deal. And the market went crazy, and I started buying a lot more watches, a lot more expensive watches, and now the market is back to where it was. People talk about the crash. There's no crash. It was just crazy exuberance, and now things are back, but you still have to pay a big premium for the leaders of the pack, the very high demand watches. But for everything else, finally we're back to normal, and you can look for the good deals just at a time where nobody has money anymore, right? Personally, I need the money mostly to pay for the holidays, pay for the schools, and try to save some money. Maybe buy gold. That's my advice to you. I think it's the only thing that's actual money. The rest is just currencies. And even the mighty dollar has been printed so much in the past years. Since 1981, really. What is it really worth? That's a whole different conversation. But after all, this is a podcast style. I'm gonna go with everything that comes through my mind. But I think I've been some watches. I've been really careful getting a good deal and trying to find something that was very, very unique, like the Patek 6006, for example, or the Rolex 116600, references that got discontinued pretty quickly and were replaced by something that I don't like as much, I don't think is as interesting. So forwarding, fast forwarding in 20 years, maybe there will be a sought after, but who is going to wait 20 years, right? Are you able to keep those safely working in good condition for that long until they are worth something? And does it really matter at all? Wouldn't you be better off? I mean, if you're not going to wear them and enjoy them, then you're probably better off putting that money into the stock market or bonds or gold. So then you look at your collection and you're thinking, well, I bought these, for a good reason, and they're great watches, they're very good, but am I going to really wear them? Your taste is changing, and the fun is to buy them afterwards. You end up maybe wearing something completely different. Last year, my most worn watch was the Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT, and I took it on 3 trips, and I'm enjoying it so much. And that leads me to looking at the releases of the past year. Omega had a big year, a lot of releases. Which ones are important? It's they make so many of them. You can expect that you're gonna, if you get tired of the watch, you're gonna lose 30% on anything you buy, at least, if not 50%. Other marquee releases, I think everyone agrees that the worst one, not because it's a bad watch in the way it's constructed, but it's such a bizarre thing, is the Patek Cubitus. The name is terrible. It's clearly just a squared version of the Nautilus. The CEO gave that terrible interview where he thinks he's the next. He's the current greatest designer, and he says that they never partnered well with external designers, while the watch that everybody knows them for right now, the Nautilus, was designed obviously by Gerald Genta, and it's supposed to be a new collection. And I feel that in the past years, they done many interesting watches, like the weekly calendar, for example. And but all of them apparently fell into an existing collection, often in the Calatrava range. But Calatrava can be so many things. It can be a pilot watch, can be a dress watch. To me, all those watches were collections in themselves, or maybe they were just one-off. But they've done many very interesting things with the annual calendars, with the new calibers are very, very beautiful, with the micro rotor, and the 5205, and the regulator watch in particular I thought was very interesting in the past few years. But apparently this is the new collection, and obviously there's nothing new about it. Very well made, and if you love it, it's great. But it was just such a big weird thing, and it makes you feel like everything is just a product. And every watch, after all, is just a product. I think unless you go and meet a great watchmaker, say F. Pigeon, and you say, hey, can you make me a new complication, something incredible just for me? And then you get something really unique. That's when it's not just a product, right? You get really the craftsmanship of that only one single human can provide to you. And obviously that's the extreme case, but when you go to low production watches, you get something a lot more special. But they are very complex, very low production, avant-garde type of watches, like Olance, for example, that I reviewed on the channel, which might be impressive when it's made and when it comes out, and then people completely forget about them, and you get them pennies on the dollar. I think you got to be careful with that, and with what is going to be desirable. But surely surely getting something very special from a special watchmaker is certainly very special. I don't think the Cubitus is that. It's just more. It's just a product, and there will be more of them, smaller sizes, chronographs, the perpetual calendar into it. It's going to be iterated to death. So Yeah, a bizarre release. What else did we have? Watches and Wonders. Not many great new releases because 2023 started going very bad for the market, and 2024 I think the big brands didn't want to release too many new things, and really reduce the pressure on the retailers that have to get rid of those watches. Nevertheless, Rolex came out with a full gold deep sea, and if you think about it as a store of value, maybe it's not that bad, because as I said, gold I think is a good play. It's been a good play for many years, and as big currencies like the dollar lose more and more of their real value, gold has always been the thing that people go back to, and the Chinese authorities are buying a lot of them. Bought a lot of them in December, and they will keep on buying. So maybe that big crazy watch, full gold. Obviously, you're paying the gold that's in it by weight is maybe a fifth, if that, of the retail price. But in some twisted way, it could be the watch to buy. But obviously, it is very ridiculous, especially in a market, in an economy that, while the stock market is so high, the economy feels so bad, and the retailers are struggling. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Hong Kong retailers of Rolex, who have been just starving the real market for 3-4 years, and sending everything to dealers. What are they going to do? Because now the price of gold is so high that Rolex has increased incredibly the price of the full gold watches. And a full gold, white gold Daytona that used to retail not that long ago for 300K, now is 420 or 440K, completely out of range for someone like me, for example. I could buy it if I sold a bunch of watches, but it's not something I desire to have. A full gold sports watch doesn't make much sense to me, and just putting so much money into one watch, that's not incredible. It doesn't make any sense. I want to put the money into watchmaking, not into the hype and the material. So. It's going to be tough for the retailers to move the full gold pieces, the two-tone pieces. The price of even a bluesy now, I think, has become ridiculous. It's 25% more than when I was looking at the bluesy. Obviously, I'm not going to go for a watch like that. But there's always people with money. But yeah, I think people are going to get smart, and it's going to be tough to move those pieces. Anyway, Watches and Wonders, they did the black and gray GMT, whoop-de-doo. Not very interesting. I have a little prediction that they will come with the cork on a oyster steel, maybe the cork in white gold with the oyster flex. The oyster flex strap. I did a mock-up, and that would look amazing. And obviously, they will be following on the steps of the of Tudor. So Tudor, the Black Bay 58 GMT that came out this year. It's what people wanted for the past 6 years. And when it came out, and somehow it came out, it's there. I bought mine on the strap, and I love it. And I think that the strap does a lot for it because the look is very different than the bracelet. I don't like it as much on the bracelet. Somehow the bracelet Tudors, I fell out of love with most of them. And this completely renews my love, and I love the functionality of the clasp, the comfort of the strap, and just the look. So maybe it's a test for the market, and I don't know. Maybe Rolex will do their version with the Oyster Flex to completely give a new vibe for the GMT. I think it would make sense. It would make the GMT more wearable when you travel. I think the Oyster Flex reduces a bit the visual, and it works really great on the Daytona. It's probably the hottest Daytona to get, the Daytona on the Oyster Flex. I'd love to have one. All of them are good, all the dial variations. And so yeah, that was my most worn watch of the year, the Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT. Every weekend, every trip I make, and to be honest, I enjoy wearing it all day long as well. But I sort of force myself to go through my collection and wear my watches. Although more and more I get this sensation that I've been an over-indulgent child, and yeah, do you feel the same? When we were kids, our parents, I mean, my parents were not very rich, so you would wait for your birthday, for Christmas to get some gifts. But yeah, I could not. Wasn't wearing any nice brands of clothes. We always had good food. Don't worry. But we were not poor, but we were not rich either. So we knew the value of $1. And I think even people who are very rich try to give that education to their kids, that you have to understand the value of money. Probably my kids have it a bit easier, and God, they've taken they've flown on airplanes more than 50 times already. I hadn't flown before I was 17. They live an incredible life, going to 5-star resorts. I never had that kind of life. And when it comes to watches, yeah, as I said, when I started buying watches, $300 seemed insane to pay for a watch. And it just goes to show how the brain goes. And then now I have multiple watches that are worth more than $10,000 US. And I know some guys have one watch that's worth more than my whole collection, obviously. But come on, we live in the real world. I have a normal job. My wife doesn't work, so I have to support the family. And when I look at my collection, I'm thinking, wow, have I been a savvy collector, or have I been an over-indulgent child? I try to know. I'd like to know that to think that I know what I'm doing, but do I really do it? Does anyone? Nobody 20 years ago knew that the Paul Newman, or 30 or 30 years ago knew that the Paul Newman Daytona would be worth millions. People didn't want that watch. It was garbage, basically, for a long time. And now all the holy weirds have one on the wrist. Same thing for the Royal Oak. AP wanted to discontinue it. It just goes to show absolutely nobody knows. So you look at your collection, you think you're smart, but you don't know what you're gonna want in 20 years, what people will want in 20 years, if watches will even be a thing in 20 years. And sometimes I look at my collection, I'm thinking the other thing that I'm thinking is that maybe I've never bought the watch that I should, because you buy so many watches at a certain price point, and you don't. I've tried buying watches more expensive, like in the $25,000-$30,000 ballpark, to talk actual money, and they never stuck. I just could not afford keeping them. I didn't feel right keeping them. But if you add all the watches that I have, it's worth a lot more than a $30,000 watch, and maybe I'd be happier selling everything and having that really nice watch that's worth a lot less than my whole collection, but that fulfills everything, that feels really important. A lot of people attach a sentimental value to a watch, and a watch was often bought because you were celebrating an event. And I've never really done that. I just buy the watches when I find the right deal, or when they come out, right? My better buys were when I was patient and just waiting for the right deal. And I think this is where the market is right now. You can get the right deal, but you can't just buy everything you want when you want it. And that's when that's where I feel I've been overindulging on certain things, and it's difficult, right? We're all suddenly you're a man and you have money, and nobody's stopping you from using it, unlike when you were a kid. So yeah, let me know how you feel about that. I think a lot of people feel the same way, and the market has changed. The psychology of the collector has changed. And I see a lot of posts on Instagram or video on YouTube that are a lot more ironic about the watch market, and people seem to be waking up to the fact that you're on the buying end of a big industry, right? And everything is just a product, and they need to come up with another product. So it's difficult to say what is really important and what is not important. So will the new Omega moon phase, probably chronograph, be important? Will it be sized for Andre the Giant or for a normal wrist? We will see in 6-7 days on the 14th. It's coming out. I love Omega. I love going to the boutique, and it's very rewarding, and you make good friends, and it's a cool brand. Omega is a cool brand when you wear it. Just people are just enthusiastic about it. People don't look down on it, and the people on the street might not know what model you are wearing, and even if they know, they don't think that it's something that an over-indulgent prick would wear. Unlike Rolex, eventually the tide might turn on Rolex, and people will. Many people already do think that it's uncool, but they're just so good watches. They're really well made, and that's important too, right? You want a watch that's really well made. And I've had in my hand a lot of watches made not far from here, and in China, and it gives the appearance of something really well made, because of course they make a lot of parts for the Swiss. So for the appearance they can give it, but on the inside it's often not as good as on the outside. And so quality of craftsmanship is also a real pleasure that you have to focus on when you choose a watch. So there you go. That's a bit all the things that I have on my mind at the moment. The market is really, really slow here in Hong Kong. Whether for watches, for guitars, very difficult to sell anything. I think the market will pick up after the bonus season. So often in March. So maybe there will be a bit more activity. I've been trying to sell quite a few watches, but I don't know. I'm like a magnet. They seem to more watches seem to come to me. But best thing to do is to invest your money, and so the money is locked away, and there's just no cash to buy watches. That's probably the safest thing that you have to do. There you go. What else? What else is going on? Maybe YouTube. What is cool on YouTube? There's quite a few good channels on YouTube. As I said, the Blog to Watch is the one that I watch the most. Of course, always follow Tim Mosso. It's quite interesting because he's so articulate and really looks at watches from very, very close and get them hands-on. So he has a real experience behind the watches. I like the humor of the You're Terrific channel. You're Terrific, really a fun guy. So many little humorous nuggets in all his video. I like the analytical point of view of the This Watch, That Watch channel. Very interesting. Sometimes just from the thumbnail I think it's not going to be interesting, but that guy always manages to make a very valid point. So very interesting to watch that channel as well. Gotta help me, guys. A lot of channels that funnily I also like to watch this geezer from England, the honest watch dealer, that guy who sells Rolex. 99% of it is Rolex, and he just gives you the down low of where he buys and where they sell the watches and where the market is going and what people are buying. But I like the way he does it. His name is Charlie. I like the way he does it. It's very honest, and unlike a lot of dealer channels, which are just a lot of bullshit, negative stuff, positive stuff, but a lot of things that are not interesting. At least this channel the honest watch dealer. He just says it like it is, and I like the way he speaks. Very entertaining to listen to him as well. So very different, yeah. A blog to watch is, as I said, is my favorite thing to listen to. Yeah, and often I reflect back on the things that Ariel Adams and the team say. It's a refreshing point of view quite often, and then they don't sell watches. That's a big difference. All the channels that sell watches, you can never really quite be 100% behind what they say. Trust anything they say. Even myself, right? Sometimes I review a watch that I'm given, and I can't be too negative about it. So I try to do sort of the Tim Mosso approach, right? See the positives in it, and try to be fair about the things that I think should be improved. But obviously, it's often watches at a lower price point. So what can you expect at the lower price point? One watch that people talked a lot about and say that is their favorite of last year, which is also interesting in itself, is the Berneron watch. Interesting, but look at the price; it's 70 grand, and yeah, it's well designed. And Sylvain Berneron knows the market very well. He's head designer for Breitling. But he's not a watchmaker, right? So he designed the watch, and he wanted the movement to be the shape of the case, or the opposite, very flowing shapes, a bit like a Cartier crush. So he had to challenge, obviously, the suppliers to make these things, and to make the watches in gold also cost a lot when you do a very few of them, and it's never easy when you do your first watches, small production. So it costs a lot. You have to put the money up front, and there's problems with the quality. So it's amazing that he has managed to achieve that, certainly. But at the price, you can get a longer chronograph. And this is just a time-only watch that you don't even know if it's going to run accurately. Hopefully, it will. So. It's a nice design, it's a nice watch, but it's not a brand, right? It's one watch. Is there something behind it, or just more iteration of the same? So I don't get too excited for something like this. If you can make it for 20 grand, yeah, okay. But 70 grand, or what was it? 70 grand or 50 grand? It's a lot of money, because you have to pay for that small production. And what the suppliers charge, and of course take your big margin on it, but everything is sold out. It sells out. So it goes to show people buy the looks, and if it's made by someone serious, they'll buy it. The GPHG, it got one award. It's funny how they make up awards to make everybody happy. And they nominate so many watches from brands that are not selling, like Parmigiani Fleurier. And a lot of watches are the same as last year, and they get re-entered with a different dial, and everybody gets their little prize. It's not very representative of the market, right? Rolex, Patek, Cartier, Vacheron, GLC are not part of it. So it's a thing, and the voting is its own thing as well. I think you have to take everything there with the pinch of salt, but it's nice when they can highlight something interesting, and some smaller brands got highlighted at the GPHG, but yeah, it's not the be all and all. That's for sure as well. Oh yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, what I'm watching on YouTube. There's probably a lot of other channels that I'm watching that I'm forgetting at the moment. When I want to know something about a watch, I'll watch Teddy Baldessari. He does an amazing review. He's got the means to do that. When I want to know something about a Seiko, I'll watch Escapement and Watch. Also a very fun guy, and he loves the Seiko. It's funny how Seiko has lost its luster, and the prices have crept up. And now, if somebody asks you, "Hey, I want a cheap watch to start buying my first mechanical watch," I'm not sure I could recommend the Seiko. Not one of the current ones, maybe an older one. But there's so many micro brands now that do as good, and the accuracy of the Seikos has gone so poor because they've increased the power reserve. I mean, what do you care if you're going to wear it every day? You don't need a long power reserve, right? Power reserve is when you don't wear the watch. And completely screwed up their accuracy, and it's quite important, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be on the dot every day, but if it gains 25 seconds every day, it's not a lot of fun. So, the design is just, every watch is an anniversary of something or has a date in it, and Grand Seiko always find another mountain or lake to name a dial after dial. It's I've really lost my passion for my interest, let's say, for any new Seiko release. It's just there's too many iterations of the same 69 diver and the 68 diver and all those things. But some people still have the interest, and of course I see this, and you guys listening probably also see this from people who have been collecting for a few years, and we're finally at that point where we've seen a bit everything that's been done before, and somewhat are able now to take a step back on the new stuff that comes out, although I still get very excited. We get excited for things, huh? I just bought, for example, the collaboration between Louis Erard and Vianney Halter. I bought it in 10 seconds because I just had to have it, and it's very beautiful. But is it the one watch that I would wear all the time? If I had to choose just one from my collection, it would not be that, right? So do I need to have it? Yes and no, I need to scratch the itch. But again, am I being childish in doing that? Can I just wait until someone shows it to me, make a video about it, and leave it at that, right? No disrespect, of course, to Louis Erard and Vianney. They're just fantastic, and they made a very beautiful watch. But you just can't have them all, can you? Unless you're very rich. Speaking of that, by the way, have you seen, my God, all the posts about the watches of Mark Zuckerberg? So the guy who was always just wearing a cheap T-shirt and gym pants, never had a watch. He got somebody showed him a watch, and suddenly he gets into it, and he gets the most sickest watches from Patek, and he just got that Global 4C. That's, I think, the one that's actually made by hand. Every single bit made by hand. So there's like very few in the world, and the guy already has that. So when you get to there, right, you're at the pinnacle already, right? And if the guy decides to raid every auction house, then he can have, I always said, if you're rich, it's easy to be the most distinguished collector, but everything he's bought so far, that he's shown at least, is a very tasteful, very beautiful watch, is super high-end. So, obviously he knows how to Google, right? Very interesting to see that and that guy, that tech guy, getting into watches, which is very good. It's a very good sign, right? So all the tech guys getting into it. Many of them, all the Bitcoin bros, certainly bought a lot of watches, and they probably prefer brands like MB&F to Rolex or Patek. But at the same time, Rolex, Patek, and AP, they try to appeal to a younger audience, doing funnier things, fun dials, fun collaborations, fun straps as well. We've seen that a lot recently, and they don't want to be left behind looking like like an old man's watch. So I think that's good for them. It's every time they come up with something like that, people just raise their eyebrows, and there's a lot of people making fun of it and thinking, because people are stupid. Us consumers, we're stupid. We don't know what we think we want. We think we know what we want. We would think, as people, their predictions, they will tell you something that is very predictable, something that's based from on the past. But think about fashion, think about music. Well, music now is completely ruined. It's because it is just copy pasting the same formula. Music in the 60s and the 70s was just blowing up of incredible ideas, everything completely different. Same in the 80s and the 90s, before the MP3, before all the radio, the Telecommunications Act in the US that basically made all the little radios one big radio with one program and everything sounding the same on them. Before that, you would go to the music store and discover incredible things all the time, and now that's over. That might come back eventually, hopefully, but it's the same with fashion, right? The fashion that come from Paris, Milan, the designers, they come up with things that you don't want to be expecting, and that's the whole point. And it's the same with watches. Designers of watches have to come up with something new. That's something that the Chinese, who have a great manufacturing capacity already, don't know yet, don't understand yet. They just Google what's popular, and they'll make a copy of Roger Dubuis Excalibur, for example, or a copy of an AP Royal Oak, and things of that nature. They haven't yet come up with a great original design right now. They just AI ink their designs. And there's a lot of obviously in this watch industry, a lot of copies, because when you start a brand, you want to do something that's going to sell. So you do the integrated steel sports, and then you maybe make something a bit more original, a bit more daring. But 90% of what we see is based off something that we know, and hopefully we are going to be challenged. And it's good that the brands try something different, try to appeal to a younger audience. And challenge the old geezers like me and often it's like music. Often I listen when I would discover an album, I didn't really get into it, didn't really like it, and the more you listen to it, the more you get it, and then you finally you love it. Sometimes it takes years to understand and love it. I think it's going to be the same with many watches. That's why you can never judge too quickly a watch. But a lot of the watches we see are pretty predictable kind of products. They're quite obvious. They don't challenge you too much. Hopefully we will see something that's challenging, and that's also why I'm thinking again about that watch, that Berneron. People like that because it's different shapes and all that, and shapes have always been the thing with watches. Look at the 70s, the 60s, the original shapes. It is all those trends that come and go, come back, and then and after it all, people just wear a Rolex Submariner. All right, so by now, hopefully all of you have fallen asleep, maybe at your office, in your train, hopefully not behind the wheel of the car. Hopefully you're in bed and nobody's listening to what I'm saying at this point. Maybe it's a good time to say that I've actually just sold all my watches to one dealer, and I'm gonna just wear my Tissot PRX Carbon. No, I'm joking. I love that watch. Which goes to show, man, I'm spending tons of money on watches, and then the Tissot PRX Carbon, it's not real carbon, right? It's just like carbon pulp, like discarded bits of carbon melted with resin or something and molded, and yet it's super entertaining. It's super nice to wear, and I could wear just that. I'd feel cool wearing that. I'd feel like a tech bro, like a Bitcoin bro, wearing something demure like that. Man, gosh, I thought I was going to speak for 3 minutes, and it's been it's been 40, 50 minutes. I don't know. But there you go, guys. A bit everything that's on my mind at the moment. And if you enjoy this, yeah, give it a like. If I have enough likes, I'll do another little podcast every couple of weeks with fresh jam for you guys. Looking forward to your comments. Tell me a bit which watch channels. There's many that will come back to my mind after I'm done recording this. I don't like to be put myself on the spot. There's a lot of other watch channels that I like to watch, but often it's just like one little bit here and there, but not really. Not really devoted to any other than the ones that I have mentioned. Yeah. Looking forward for your comments. Give it a few likes if you enjoy listening to me talking about everything. And I wish you all a great year 2025. Be careful what you buy. Store a bit of gold. You never know. If when times are tough, that could be the refuge, actual money. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye-bye.